I've worked security at a lot of strange places, but the vintage toy museum in Rajasthan was the only one that made me genuinely afraid of the night. This place was old, British-era, sandstone walls, high-vaulted ceilings, floors that creaked no matter how softly you stepped. But it was the haunted toys exhibit that made me dread my rounds. One night, early February, I noticed something new behind one of the glass displays. A small doll, about the size of a cat, perched awkwardly in a corner. Wild orange hair, matted. Skin like rotting leather. Its face. I'll never forget it. A smile full of teeth, not cute, not playful. Hungry, the label read, Labbubu, Indonesia, 1956. Donated anonymously. I swear, it wasn't there the night before, but that was just the beginning. Later that night, while watching the security cams, the feed for camera 4 began to flicker violently. It was the camera trained directly on the Labbubu display. Every time it glitched, I saw the doll shift. First, its head tilted slightly. Next time, its arms moved an inch. By 3 a.m., it was facing the opposite direction. I ran down to check. The case was sealed. No one could have touched it. I took a photo for proof and returned to the security room, but when I looked at the photo, the doll was looking straight into the camera. Its teeth seemed sharper. And in the photo, its glass case was open. That's when the air got heavy. Like someone had turned off the oxygen. For the next week, it got worse. Small blue diamond lights would dim as I approached the display. Small blue diamond every night, exactly at 3:07 a.m. The sound of glass tapping echoed through the hall. The other dolls, porcelain, cloth, even one marionette, would be found in different positions, turned to face the Labbubu case. Like they were watching it. One night, I was doing my rounds when I heard giggling, not a child's giggle. This one was broken. Glitched. As if someone had forgotten how to laugh and was learning again. I slowly turned the corner and found the Labbubu doll on the floor. The case had been shattered from the inside. I froze. That thing had been locked. I double-checked the night before, then I saw it move. The doll's head twitched to the side. Click, 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 and its eyes rolled upward like it was trying to look through its own skull. I ran. I quit the next morning, but before I left, I asked the museum's director about the doll. She looked confused. We don't have anything called Labbubu. And we never accepted new inventory this month. She took me to the records. Nothing. No entry. No donation. No exhibit. We rushed to the haunted toy wing. The display was there, but it was empty. Just a few scratch marks on the back wall and a small card that read, "Thanks for setting me free." My sister Anya's 10th birthday was supposed to be memorable, and it was, just not in the way I imagined. She always loved weird things, goblins, trolls, old Halloween toys. So when I saw a strange doll at a flea market in Old Delhi, I bought it on impulse. The seller, an elderly man with milk-white eyes, warned me, "This one. Do not leave near mirrors. It remembers." I laughed it off. Superstitious nonsense, right? The doll was off. It had tangled orange hair, tiny clawed hands, oversized rabbit-like ears, and that permanent grin. A grin that felt too knowing. Too wide. Like it knew your worst thought and liked it. Anya loved it. She named it Bubu. The first night, everything seemed fine. By the third night, she was waking up screaming. She said Bubu copied her. If she turned her head, it turned too. If she smiled, it smiled wider. I thought she was being dramatic until I passed her room one night and saw her talking to something in the dark. Her back was to me, and she was whispering. Another voice, a hoarse, gargled one, replied. I flipped on the light. She turned, eyes wide. "You scared Bubu," she hissed. "Now he's mad." The next morning, her mirror had cracked, spiderweb cracks all spreading from the reflection of the doll. That day, I threw it out. Into a dumpster far from home, but 2 nights later, it was back, same grin. Same spot. Same dark energy. We tried to burn it. Doused it in kerosene and tossed it into a fire pit in our backyard. As the flames took it, we heard something scream. Not metal. Not fabric. It sounded like a small child being pulled into a furnace, then the fire burst upward, nearly catching the trees. The smell was like burning hair and rot. That night, Anya stopped speaking. She just sits, rocking back and forth, staring into empty corners. We moved. Threw away every toy, but every few months, Bubu shows up again, at the edge of the bed, at the back of a drawer, in the corner of a mirror, still smiling. I was hired to film an estate sale. Rich old collector in Shimla had died alone in his study. They wanted video of his rare items for a private auction. I didn't ask questions. I just needed the money. The house was Gothic, cold, and practically fossilized. But it was the attic where I found something that changed my life forever. Rows of dolls, all kinds. Voodoo. Porcelain. Tribal. But in the center was a small, cracked wooden thing. With stitched teeth and eyelids made of actual skin, the tag read, Labbubu. Not for sale. I didn't touch it. But as I filmed, the doll moved. I caught it on camera, just the slightest twitch of the neck. I played it back twice. There it was, movement. But not just movement. It looked into the lens. And smiled wider. That night, I dreamt of drowning. I was sinking in black water. Something gripped my ankle. When I turned, the Labbubu doll was floating there. Grinning, I woke up screaming. Next night, same dream. Only this time, the doll spoke. Now I dream of you. Every night after, it got worse. My nose bled in my sleep. Deep scratches appeared across my back. I stopped filming, deleted every file. But the doll's image started appearing in other videos. Stuff I shot before the estate job. Stuff from years ago. My laptop wouldn't let me delete the files. Every time I tried, it would say, "You cannot delete a dream." Now I don't sleep, I don't blink, because the last time I did, I saw Labbubu in my room, not in the dream, in the reflection of my window, and I swear. He winked. This happened 2 years ago when I was visiting my aunt for the summer. She lives in a small hill town, the kind where nothing exciting ever happens. One day, we visited a local flea market. I wasn't looking for anything in particular, but something caught my eye. It was this creepy little doll sitting on a worn-out wooden table. It had huge eyes, spiky fur, and a grin that stretched unnaturally wide. I'd later learn it was called a Labbubu doll. Some kind of collectible. Apparently, the guy selling it was this older man, very quiet. When I asked how much it was, he just said, "It's not for sale. But it chooses." Then, without me saying anything else, he handed it to me in a paper bag and muttered, "Don't cover its eyes. Don't feed it after midnight. And never say its name after dark." I thought it was a joke. Just one of those weird old antique sellers trying to be mysterious. I didn't take it seriously at all. The doll sat on my shelf for a few days. I never touched it. But I kept noticing small things. Like, I'd leave the room and come back to find it facing a different direction. Sometimes it would be turned toward my bed. Once, I even found it on the floor, when I was sure I left it on the shelf. At first, I figured my little cousin was messing with me. But when I asked, she had no idea what I was talking about. My aunt didn't like the doll either. She said it gave her bad energy. One night around 3 a.m., I woke up suddenly. It was freezing. I sat up in bed, and that's when I saw it. The doll wasn't on the shelf anymore, it was sitting on my desk chair. Facing me. Grinning, I grabbed it and tossed it into the closet, slammed the door, and tried to forget about it. That was my mistake, because within 5 minutes of lying back down, I heard something. It wasn't loud. Just this soft whisper. Like a voice trying not to wake someone up, it said my name, "Hey. Hey, say it, say it." I turned on my lamp. There was nothing in the room. But when I opened the closet, the doll was gone, and somehow, it was back, on the chair again. Same position. Same grin. The next morning, I went online. I searched Labbubu doll creepy and eventually found this super old forum post. Someone wrote about buying one just like mine from a flea market, and how their sister started hearing it talk at night. A reply mentioned something called a mirror switch. No explanation, just that if you speak its name after dark, you're giving it permission. I remembered the old man's warning, never say its name after dark, and I had. That night was different. I didn't just hear whispers, I had a dream. A little girl, soaking wet, holding the same doll. Crying. She kept saying, "He wants to come through the glass. He likes faces." I woke up gasping. And this time, the doll wasn't on the chair. It was on my chest. I froze. Its eyes were open wider than usual. The grin felt bigger. I could swear I felt breath on my face. Then I heard it again, say my name. I threw it across the room and ran to the bathroom. I didn't turn around until I locked the door behind me, but when I looked in the mirror, my reflection was still. I blinked. It didn't, then it smiled, the exact same smile as the doll. The next morning, I begged my aunt to get rid of the doll. She burned it that same evening. I watched it melt and turn black in the fire pit. But here's the thing, that night, I looked in the mirror again, and for a split second, my reflection was still smiling, even though I wasn't. It only lasted a second. But I know what I saw. I haven't told anyone this story in full before. And I haven't seen the doll since, but a few weeks ago, I saw a new listing online from a seller in my town. It was titled, "Rare Labbubu Doll, It Chooses." And yeah, the photo, it looked exactly like the one I had.